This is something that we did for a broadcaster in the US around remote production. And they had an almost unmanned studio, or a de-skilled studio, perhaps remotely, and they wanted to have control from the main facility. So we offered them, as part of their TallyMan virtual panels, we offered them a page like this that gave them the key controls that they needed. So, for example, on the left here, you can see the types of control that we have in this solution. So here we've got Sony robotic camera control, we've got lighting control, and a power unit controls as well, so we can control MDUs. We have VoIP control up in the top right, and then here below that we're controlling a read-all media net, and then we're talking to a Grass Valley NV9000 system and an Evertz color corrector as well. For the cameras, I can just use joystick control and I can move the camera around as I need to, or if I want to, I can change that to buttons and have a fast or slow sort of movement control there. I can adjust its zoom and its focus, and this can be touchscreen or like I'm doing now by mouse control. And then we have the ability to recall the presets. Now, if they wanted more detailed control than that for any particular reason, then they can jump to another page where we offer some of the more granular controls, so the shutter iris, gain, color balancing, slopes, knees, etc. But also the ability to save those presets as well, and then find a control over the zoom and focus. Moving over to the right then, we have our VoIPs. So I can click on the pad, I can hit a number and dial, and then that would send that number string to that VoIP to make that dial, and then I can hang up when I'm complete. It also gives me a status indication as well that tells me if that VoIP is in use or not. For the read-all media net, I have control over the audio side of it, so I can change the gain controls of the mics to 2 channels in this case, but obviously that can be as many channels as you need. And then I've got some very simple IFB control, just changing the sources of the IFB. Then in addition, for the NV9000, I mean, in this representation of a studio setup here, you can see there's a large monitor at the back and there's a small sort of prompter type monitor at the bottom. So I can actually select which one and then do some routing to change which source is available to that, the prompter as well. This particular customer wanted to be able to remote control their color corrector. So we were able to give the users a very, very simplified interface that gave them just sort of the controls they needed. But then also on top of that, we had a sort of macro type control where we were able to set up some presets. So if they had one guest, then we could change the lighting, we could change the PTZ camera, its position and focus, or its preset essentially. But then if they had 2 guests, then we could change the lighting and camera again to do that. And then at the end of the day, we could just shut the whole studio down because we have control over the power units within that studio. So, all of those devices are controlled over IP in this case. Each one of those protocols, so the PTZ, I believe, was Sony in this case, VoIPs, the MediaNet, the NV9000, and the color corrector, all of those sort of protocols are available in the system, straight out of the box. So when we use TallyMan Virtual Panel, you can see this little green icon at the top. That means I'm connected to my TallyMan system. And then that gives me access to everything that the TallyMan system has. So all of these panels represent a configuration within TallyMan Virtual Panels. You can see you can have as many as you like. And each one could be for a different position, or it could be for a different user, or it could be just to operate different functionality. So I've created a new panel. I'm going to go in and edit it. And you can see here, this is the main edit screen that you'd use. So centrally, we have the stage, which represents the screen. And we've just added in functionality. So this doesn't have to be full screen anymore. It could be just a bar on the side or the bottom that floats above all other windows. So you can show it and hide it as you need it. And then down the left-hand side, I have all the tools that are available to me through the TallyMan virtual panels. So the simple demo that we do that's quite effective is we can make a router controller. So in this case, I'm going to add a source button. I can make an array. I'm going to make 8 of them, like this. And I can add a destination button, and I'll do the same. I'll make an array. So we've got 8. So now we've got 8 sources, 8 destinations. So now what I need to do, I can click on the Assign tab, and then you'll see that we've got everything that was in our TallyMan system available to us. So in this case, I'm going to choose a video router. I select sources, and I can select the first handful of sources. And you see when I drag it onto the background, it automatically assigns it to those buttons sequentially, or I can assign it to a single button. So I'm going to do that. So you can see now each one has picked up a name from the TallyMan system. So camera 1 to 8. And then I'm going to select the destinations. And do the same thing. So not only is that then labeled all of these destination buttons, but also you can see what's routed to them currently. Now, if I come up here and hit the live preview mode button, or play button, then I can actually start routing straight away. And you can see that that cross point is changing as I make changes. Now, if I want to take this a bit further, I can add a take button. Now, I don't need to do anything with a take button. I can, just by dropping on the screen, the software understands its functionality and it's related to the routing control on here. So now if I try and make changes, you can see that the take button is highlighting the cross point I want to make, and then makes it when I hit the button. But also if I hit it again, it undoes that route. The take button also has a little option down here called multi-take. I'll highlight that, and I click my take button. It means that I can start making multiple cross points, and you can see it's building it up there. And then when I hit take, it'll do them all as a salvo, or undo them. So you can see the interface is very easy to use. There's all sorts of control aspects down here. A lot of, this is about router control, whether it's web browsers that are built in. We can change names and mnemonics on routers. We can do it directly here just by using mnemonic editor. We've got Tally pin patches, we've got UMDs and Tally status, we've got the sliders, etc. So if I had a function that I wanted to assign to a slider, then for instance, I could go to, I don't know, let's go with a Visca camera. I can grab my zoom control and I can just drop it onto that slider.